Welcome to the podcast. It's the magical holidays. Time for Joe watching 60 Christmas movies in 60 days. Why, you might ask? Because it sounds like a crazy task to be watching 60 Christmas movies in 60 days. It'll be struggle, no I won't lie. By the halfway point I will lose my mind, but with your support I'm gonna be fine. So let's have a blast on this Christmas time. Join me now and let's find out about today's Christmas movie. Was it good or bad? Happy or sad? Is there another dead mom and dad? Let's get to it with no delay. It's your old pal Joe and he's happy to say welcome to Joe watches 60 Christmas movies in 60 days.
How's it going, everybody? It's me, it's your old pal Joe, and welcome to Joe watches 60 Christmas movies in 60 days. We have arrived at episode 28. But before we get into today's movie, of course, we must check in and talk about our good friends over at Third Eye Comics. Third Eye Comics, the exclusive sponsor for Joe Watches 60 Christmas Movies in 60 Days Season 4. Still can't believe I have a sponsor. Still can't believe someone is offering to support the show. But without them, Season 4 simply would not have happened. So I appreciate it more than I can say. If you're in the need for any comics, graphic novels, gaming equipment, board games, music, or movies, please check them out at shop.thirdeyecomics.com. They're great for gifts. If you have anybody that you want to buy a gift for in this upcoming holiday season, I'm sure you can find something you'd like there. And if you have any questions, like, Joe, I want to buy something from them. I want to support you because they supported you. I want to support them. What can I pick out? What should I get? You just go ahead and reach out to me at JOEMOC, Twitter and Instagram. I'd be more than happy to guide you towards something, either through myself or my good buddy Rusty, who knows a lot about all of those things, and he can also help us find something good. So if you want to buy something, but you're not sure what, you're looking for a recommendation, let me know. I'm happy to help. All right, let's talk about today's movie, Fir Crazy. Fir Crazy is our 28th movie, and it is the first of 3 recordings that I must do today in order to catch up on recordings. I have been watching the movies, but I have not been making time for podcasting. I've had other things I've had to do, including not wanting to podcast. It's so funny because this is a relatively enjoyable thing to do. It's fun. The whole project in and of itself, the whole project is fun. The individual tasks, awful. Makes me want to claw my eyes out. It makes me not want to do anything. But that's not an option. Buddy, we got to talk about some movies. Let's talk about Fir Crazy. We start the day with our main character, Elise, being awoken by 3, count them, 3 alarms. She really needs help getting up. She's on her way to work when she calls her mom to check in on things. We find out her dad bought a 40-pound turkey for Thanksgiving for just 2 people. Well, hopefully 3 if Elise can find her way to coming home for the holiday. She hasn't been home in a year. Elise isn't sure if she can. She's up for a promotion and might need to work extra hard through the holidays. We also learn her parents sell Christmas trees and are getting ready to set up their lot for the year. Eventually Elise gets to work. We also see that she has a boyfriend she works with. His name is Lance. He notices a flyer laying around for a secret Santa program the office is running. She uses this to complain about Christmas. This is the 3rd time we've seen her talk bad about some element of Christmas, so the movie wants to make sure we know she is not into Christmas. He asks her what the deal is with her and Christmas. She explains that while she always tells people she grew up on a farm, she leaves out the fact that it was a Christmas tree farm. Every year, as far back as she can remember, from Thanksgiving through December 25th, her family has traveled into Manhattan, stayed in a freezing cold trailer, all to sell trees. It's the anti-Christmas experience. Before she can continue, her boss asks her over to have a chat. We cut to her responding, "I'm being fired?" We find out 3rd quarter sales are in the toilet. He needs to downsize. He needs to trim the fat. She goes, "Wait, does that mean I'm the fat?" And he goes, No, that's not what I'm saying. He says, "Look, we're an athletic shoe company. Look at your feet." And then he basically changes his tact to say not just the fact that we're having to downsize due to the sale challenges. You're also not wearing appropriate shoes for our company because we're an athletic shoe company and you're wearing fancy business high heels. I do not know what the point of that is. You also expect everybody in that office is wearing some sort of business attire. So they're supposed to be wearing that along with athletic shoes? He says she does her job, but he's not feeling the passion, the connection. He ends by saying, "You'll bounce back, kid." Later that night, her boyfriend stops by to say that he can't do their agreed-upon holiday plans. With the layoffs, he has even more work than normal to do. Also, he thinks they should take a break. She takes this as a full-on breakup, which he denies. He goes, "I never said up, I just said break." But she closes the door in his face anyway. Cut to Elise talking to a headhunter. She doesn't have great news for her. It's a rough time to find new work at the end of the year, but she'll do her best to help her. Be ready to interview on a moment's notice. Cut to Elise arriving at her parents' place. Her mom is so happy to see her. "Wait, why are you here?" "I got fired and dumped." Her mom feels bad, but it's also good news. She walks Elise into the other room where we find her dad with a cast on his ankle. Turns out he dropped that 40-pound turkey on his foot. And they're going to need help to sell those Christmas trees. She asks Elise if she can take over for the year. We cut to Elise complaining about this request to her friend. She told her mom that she'd think about it. She swore when she was 14 she'd never step foot on that Christmas tree lot again. Every other kid gets to wake up on Christmas morning and find presents waiting for them. Elise woke up to take out Chinese and a stocking. And one year, her mom even forgot the stocking. Her friend reminds her that this is a chance for a new beginning, and plus, it's for her family. Cut to her telling her mom she'll do it. Unfortunately, on the first day, she oversleeps. She's late arriving at the tree lot where her cousin Shane is already hard at work. He notes that she's not dressed appropriately. She's wearing business attire, but she says it's because she needs to be ready for an interview at a moment's notice. And a bit of side news. Let's explain the situation here with this tree lot. So they're selling trees in downtown New York City. And because of this, now I'm not from New York City. I'm from the great state of Maryland, from the state of Maryland. And in New York, apparently, it is commonplace for people to sell Christmas trees on the corners of street corners. Like they'll find an open slab of sidewalk or pavement, and then that's where they're going to set up their Christmas tree lot. Now, it's not without permission. In this case, they have the permission of the store they're going to be set up in front of. But the challenge here is that there is a new owner of the store, and he's very unhappy with how much space the trees are covering in front of the store lot, in the lot in front of the store. This is despite the fact that it's the same as it is every year. He says his lawyers will fix this, and then they'll be gone. He says this to Elise, because he basically is coming into or out of the store that he now owns. And he's bitching about all this stuff. And then he goes, and my lawyers are going to fix this and you're gone. And Elise says to her cousin, who is helping her sell trees for the year, I should have mentioned this earlier. It's basically because of the injury to her dad, they roped in one of their cousins to help out, one of Elise's cousins. So he's going to be manning the lot with Elise's help. And so she says to her cousin, "Well, that's fine. We can just get a new corner." But her cousin Shane says all the good ones have already been taken. If we lose this spot, we'll lose the business for the year. Cut to a handsome businessman checking out the trees. He tries to make conversation with Elise, but she's too busy on her phone to help. He eventually walks away. Shane tries to get her into the working spirit, but she doesn't really care. We then get her tree-selling montage. Eventually, we settle on her friend stopping by with pizza. She asks Elise what they might be able to do if they... why don't you spruce the place up with decorations? Maybe we need to, put some lights up and stuff. Before this can continue, the mean company owner stops by. He's mad when he finds out that they're still there. She accidentally spills, for lack of a better word, pizza on the mean business owner's coat. I don't know how you want to... She bumps into him, and then pizza goes all over his jacket. And he says, "You better not get too comfortable here. He's going to get rid of them." He calls his lawyer to find out how it's going, looking for loopholes in the contract. The lawyer says, "It's really hard. It seems pretty airtight." And he goes, "Fine. If I don't find any loopholes, I might just close this whole damn store down." Later that night, Elise gets a call from her mom, who cheers her up and encourages her to try her best. And you know what? This call makes a difference, because the next day she arrives at the tree lot dressed appropriately. She tells Shane that she's ready to turn over a new leaf. She immediately gets a chance to sell a tree to a dad with his kid. She remembers how to do it, how to be charming, etc., and sells a tree. Then the handsome businessman from before returns. Shane tries to help him, but he only has eyes for Elise. We then jump ahead to Shane and Elise decorating the lot with Christmas lights. Her friend stops by and says this is what she was talking about. But then the lights short out, And also, it shorts out the power for the store they're in front of. The angry business owner is angrier than ever. He storms out very angry. "This is another problem you've caused me," he says. Shane rushes inside to check out the circuit breaker. We get more selling of trees, lots of weird customers, like a kid punching a tree, a drunk businessman hugging a tree, stuff like that. Eventually, we settle on Elise stuffing a tree into the back of a taxi. She's having trouble when who should show up but handsome businessman. He finally gets to talk to Elise and explains that he's already bought 3 trees just to get a chance to talk to her. He asks her out for coffee. She says she's on a dating hiatus. He says it doesn't have to be a date. He then introduces himself. He is Darren. They agree to meet the next afternoon for coffee. Cut to the non-date. He's a public school teacher. They walk past a skating rink she used to go to all the time when she was a kid, but hasn't been to in a very long time. He decides that's what they should do for the afternoon. They go ice skating. He is terrible at it, which only delights her. But then he falls, and she falls on top of him, and they share a moment. She tells him about her job and how she's hoping for a new one. They are extremely flirty with one another. Cut to after the date. He drops her off at the tree lot. When they notice they're standing under mistletoe, she gets a bit flustered, but he takes control and lays a big old smooch on her. I'm talking big smooch, especially considering that they have gone out on one non-date. And that is it. They have known each other for less than 24 hours. Or maybe just 24 hours. I never expected a kiss between love interests this early in a movie. You know, you figured it'd be a thing where they try to kiss, but then they get interrupted. So I at least appreciated the fact that they kissed as soon as they did. The kiss reminds Elise that she's not sure whether this is a good time to pursue a relationship. Darren is completely understanding and heads on his way. Then there's a bit where the big mean company owner in the store, he's inside the store and lights start flickering. He gets an idea once he sees the lights flickering because of the Christmas lights they put out outside. Back to the Christmas tree lot, handsome business bloke Darren has returned. He explains to Elise that the students want to put on a toy drive, so he's there to get a tree for it. He also invites Elise to help out at the toy drive. She agrees. Cut to the toy drive. She's brought cupcakes. The kids love it. Darren dresses up as Santa, and the kids sit on his lap and say what they want for Christmas. Elise is very smitten with him. We get so many vignettes showing Elise is changing her tune in regards to Christmas, like she gets festive coffee now instead of just black coffee. Back to the Christmas tree lot, we get more weird customers, like a couple who has Elise determine how they handle a family dispute. Elise helps them and ends up delivering their tree for them, and then they become pals. We get a whole scene of her delivering the tree, and then the wife of the couple invites her in for coffee. We learn that the couple, they talk to her about like who she might be into. Is there anybody that she's interested in? She tells them about Darren. The coffee date with this couple ends with the woman giving Elise her business card. She works downtown at City Hall. They should get lunch sometime. Darren stops by the Christmas tree lot, but then Elise gets a call from her headhunter. She has an interview for the VP position at a competitor of her old company in an hour. She leaves Darren in charge of the lot. Cut to the interview. The guy only wants to know dirt about her old company, about their corporate secrets, etc. So she leaves the interview partway through. Back to the Christmas tree lot. She rescues Darren and asks him if he'd like to go on a proper date tonight. He sure would. So I thought when she left him in charge of the Christmas tree lot, something would happen with the Christmas tree lot. Like, I don't know. Like Darren would run into some sort of mishap or screw something up. No, we don't even see him in charge of the Christmas tree lot for long. When she comes back, all we see is him being asked what the difference between 2 different types of trees are. And before he can even answer, she's there to rescue him. Anyway, now they're going to go on a date. But then her ex shows up. He explains that he got the promotion that she wanted at her old job. Now, he does not explain it that way, but that is what happened. He wants to celebrate with her. Darren immediately ejects himself from the situation, leaving Elise with her ex. She tells her ex she's not interested. She goes to chase after Darren, but then some official shows up to shut down the Christmas tree lot. They have orders from the fire department to say the lot has been condemned as a fire hazard because the lights are shorting out the available power supply. They're also confiscating the trees. They find out it's all because of the mean businessman owner. He's not a man owner. He's the business owner man. The business, yeah, all right, whatever. It doesn't matter. Elise is very sad. Cut to her arriving at her parents'. She explains what happened, and everybody's sad. Cut to the business owner arriving at his store. Now without a lot in front of it, he finds tons of customers inside his store complaining about the Christmas trees being removed. He yells at them. He says he doesn't owe any of them an explanation. Back on the farm, Elise has a plan to fix things. She calls Shane, her cousin, and asks him to meet her at the old street corner. She also calls her friend for help. And then she shows up at the school to get Darren. She needs his help as well. Why does she need all these people? Let's find out. They check in with their contact at the store, who says the boss always goes someplace every day. He says, I think maybe it's every Tuesday, every Thursday. Darren bribes the mean business owner's driver, and they find out the angry business owner goes to a botanical garden there nearby. So they split up. So the whole point is they split up to try to find the owner. They go to different stores that he owns, but then Darren finds out he goes to a botanical garden. So that's where he and Elise go. They find the mean business owner there. Elise walks up to him as he looks at some flowers by a bench. We see that the bench is actually dedicated to his deceased wife. With a little prodding, he talks about his wife. She was a horticulturalist. She also loved Christmas. It was the same day as her birthday, but she never let it bother her. Elise talks about how she spent so many years resenting Christmas because of her childhood. Now she feels foolish. He asks if he's there to try to get him to change his mind. She goes, well, I was, but now I'm okay with leaving you in private with your memories. She starts to leave, but then the angry owner changes his mind. He turns to her and says, what can we do to fix things? It's already the day before Christmas Eve. Elise has an idea. We cut to the trees being returned. Her new friend that works at City Hall is there. Turns out she doesn't just work at City Hall. She's the deputy mayor. So they still can't use the store's electricity, but the mean business owner, who's not mean anymore, gives them a generator so they can set up all their ornaments and decorate their lights. We get a big Christmas Eve selling montage. The business owner chats with Elise and finds out that she's out of work. He offers her a job working for him as his head of marketing. The movie concludes with Elise talking to Darren. She thanks him for his help. She also invites him to a family Christmas Eve dinner, but he says he already has plans. She's crestfallen but plays like it's okay. Cut to the family having Chinese food for dinner. Denise is sad that her love interest isn't there. We cut to Darren, who we find out is working at a soup kitchen, washing dishes. He figures out that he should go see Elise. Back to family dinner. It wraps up and everyone leaves, but there's a knock at the door. Of course, it's Darren. He has a present for Elise. It's figure skates. It's a figure skate ornament, in tribute to their first coffee non-date. She's really touched. She tells him it's the best first Christmas ever. They kiss. Their kiss then morphs into an ornament on a tree. And then we get an on-screen message wishing us a Merry Christmas. The end. This movie was fine. It was fine. It was a fine time. The people in it are fine. The MVP of this movie, let's just go ahead and say it's Elise. She was fine. I have nothing bad to say about it, but I also don't have much to say about it. So thus ends episode 18. Quite possibly our shortest episode ever. 28. Quite possibly our shortest episode ever. Thank you for listening. Thanks for your support. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me at JOEMOC on social media. And until next time, take care, and I'll talk to you then.